Whatever you're doing, if it's digital or even if it's non-digital, Claude Code is really one of the big life-changing moments, I think. I'm just going to show you a quick way how to get started with it and how to teach Claude Code to someone new who hasn't maybe used these kinds of tools before. What I use is a tool called Antigravity, but you can also use something like VS Code, which is basically the same thing. And what this does is kind of like a hosting platform, but instead of using Claude, in a browser or somewhere, this one has access to all kinds of files, and you can see how it interacts with files. You can easily put files in there and take them out. We start, by setting it up, and then we start putting our SOPs in here, all kinds of tasks that we have. And for some new information, or if we're building out something new, we can also ask Antigravity to, watch YouTube videos, read blogs, can get information, but we'll get into that in a moment. What Antigravity is, it's basically like a hosting platform. And what we do is we connect the Claude Code application to it. So what I recommend is that you install the Claude Code extension in there. Now, once you have that, I recommend using a framework that I learned from Nick Sarriev, actually, which is called the Directive-Orchestration-Execution framework. And what this does is it gives your Claude a really nice operating framework for doing day-to-day business actions. And so what it does with this framework is it writes scripts to execute on your actions, typically like Python scripts or something. And so the agent becomes the orchestrator between the scripts and your directives, which are kind of like your SOPs. I'll give you a file also that you can use for these. Once you have it set up, once you have Claude Code in there, then it's time to start building your workspaces. Instead of having everything inside one folder, I recommend starting building these little thematic workspaces. And the way I think about it is by role. Typically, some of the first things that you might want to try delegating is SDR work, finding leads with APIs, writing emails, making proposals. These are all functions, that an SDR person would do. This is something that's really suited for this kind of a workflow. And so when we're using it for these specific actions and nothing else. So when we iterate with it, when it makes a mistake and we improve, we ask it to change it, it remembers. And when we ask it to do the same actions again, it remembers to do those things, and it has those specific inputs and nothing else.